All right, so this weekend we go back to the UFC Apex for, of course, a Las Vegas 120 card. Gamrot versus Salkilld. Now, this fight is in the evening. It's not in the morning. I know that we've had back-to-back cards in the morning, so just remember it's in the evening. It starts 5 p.m. Eastern time. Now, if you want a more in-depth breakdown on the main event, I did make a single specific 34-minute long video just on the main event, breaking it down, going over it in depth, um, and my reasoning why. Of course, I can't do that here fully because my videos will be 3 hours long. So if you want an in-depth breakdown, go watch that video prior to this. Just go on my channel prior to this. I made a video on how this fight is not close. Just go quickly watch that. Now, for this card, again, as always, every single pick, every single bet I make is always unbiased, right? Majority of the times, I be betting on guys who I don't like. I be betting on guys who I cannot stand, and I still bet on them because stylistically, if it makes sense, it's right for me. Now, for this fight, Mateusz Gamrot versus Quillan Salkilld, this is a great fight, right? It's a great fight, and my only pick here has to be Gamrot. It has to be Gamrot. It has to. Gamrot is one of the best people to bet. Stylistically, if he has a good matchup, he's the best person to bet on because he goes in there, gets the win, and he leaves. He doesn't go into those fights where it's a back and forth brawl where you're like, oh my god, why did I bet on this fight? My heart's racing. Am I going to win? Am I going to lose? Why is he brawling? Why is he doing this? Why isn't he following his game plan? Why is he, like for example, Borislav, who just went in with his chin forward. Gamrot doesn't do that. He's honestly one of the best people to bet on. He goes in there, he takes you down, and he lays on you. Right? I don't like Gamrot. I don't like him. I can't stand him. But in a betting standpoint, I love him because you bet on him to do a certain thing, and he goes and he does it. Now, in this fight against Quillan Salkilld, um, after Salkild's fight in the Contender Series, I was very high on him. Right, I was very high on him because I really liked his performance in the Contender Series because it showed me that he's not just a BJJ nerd. It showed me that he had decent striking. However, that disappeared. It really did disappear. He's not as good as he is. He's not as good as people think he is, right? He's not this crazy knockout artist. He's not this crazy striker because the second he fought a half decent striker, Nasrat Hakparast, he shit himself. He started diving for his legs. From across the cage, he was diving for takedowns because he was desperate. He was getting pieced up on the feet by someone with no power. He instantly panicked, and when you panic, what do? You go to your default settings, and his default settings is grappling. So he was diving for those takedowns, and then of course he throws a random head kick after a bunch of kicks to the stomach, kicks to the legs, teeps to the stomach. He throws a head kick. Hakprast is quite shorter than him. Lands, even though Hakprast tried to block it, it lands right above the block, hits the top of his head, goes out cold. To me, that's not an impressive win. Honestly, the only impressive win of Salkild's career is his fight in the Contender Series, and Gage Young himself hasn't really lived up to the hype either. So I look at his career, I'm like, okay, he knocked out an Indian, he went life or death with Yanal Ashmush. Yanal Ashmush is not even half the wrestler that Gamrot is. And Quillan went life and death with him because Quillan didn't want to strike with him because Yamal Ashmus, he throws everything with power. He throws his entire body into his hooks. He doesn't throw 1-2s, 1-1-2s. He throws hooks and hooks and hooks. Left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. Quillan Salkilld quickly panicked. And when he panicked, he went into the wrestling. The wrestling he did quite nice, but for some reason, just 4 minutes of straight wrestling got him tired. And it wasn't like he was dominating the wrestling. Yanal Ashmus constantly got back up. He constantly got back up. He even ended up reversing Salkilld a couple of times and him landing on top. But of course, he doesn't have the BJJ like Gamrot to be able to keep him there or transition with him or switch to a body lock and take him down again or chain wrestle. So then Salkilld would get out of it and of course he would get smoked on the feet for the entire fight. In round two, Salkilld was so tired. He was going desperate for the takedowns. Round three started and he was barely even getting the takedowns. He could hardly get the takedowns in round three because as a grappler, when you're taking someone down and he gets back up, and you take him down and he gets back up, and you take him down and he gets back up, that makes you tired. It makes you exhausted. You're like, holy fuck, this guy. That's what happened with Salkilld in a 3-round fight. By the third round, he's completely gassed, and he couldn't stand up straight. He couldn't strike. He was diving for the takedowns, was barely getting them. When he would get them, he would get reversed because he's so tired. And now he's fighting 5 rounds against Gamrot. Now, I have 2 complaints about Gamrot, okay? Gamrot, 2 complaints that I have is he's 35 years old, which is just about leaving your prime. And after 35, so basically like 36 plus, one day, like the highest level fighters, they just wake up one day and they just become washed. So there was only 2 ways I see Gamrot losing this. Is if he just wakes up tomorrow and he's washed, like Bilal Muhammad, or he gets clipped, right? But to be fair, Gamrot's been clipped like 6 times, 5, 6 times in his career in the UFC, and he's always recovered, right? If this was Gamrot versus like Justin Gaethje, I would take Gaethje by knockout. If this was Gamrot versus, I don't know, Paddy Pimblett or something, I'll take Paddy Pimblett. Actually, I take that back. But what I'm trying to say is Quillan Salkilld isn't the sharp shooter or the sharp striker that you think he is. If he drops Gamrot, I think Gamrot's going to be fine. He's just going to get back up and chain wrestle. Quillan Salkilld is not the striker that's going to go in there, slip a few punches, and knock out Gamrot. He's not a striker. He's a BJJ nerd. Gamrot is going to grapple him. Salkild's going to grapple him. Gamrot is going to grapple Salkilld. Salkild's going to try his best not to grapple until he starts slowing down. And when he starts slowing down, he's going, fuck, let me just go back to grappling because grappling is natural to him. It's like whenever you see a BJJ guy strike, he gets tired a lot faster than him just doing BJJ. When you see a striker who's forced to do BJJ, he gets a lot tired than the person on the opposite side, right? So if you have a striker forced to wrestle, he gasses. When you have a wrestler who's forced to strike, he gasses. Unless if they're doing the regular thing. So here, when Salkilld starts striking with Gamrot, you know, as round 1 passes, round 2 passes, with all the takedowns and scrambles, he's going to start getting tired. And there's going to be a point where Salkilld starts getting tired and he's going to start wrestling Gamrot. And at that point, you will know, oh my God, Gamrot's winning. Because at that point, Salkilld is not the better wrestler than Gamrot. Salkilld does have better BJJ than Gamrot. But when it comes to wrestling and scrambling and chain takedowns and offensive wrestling and defensive wrestling, Gamrot takes the cake. Gamrot has the better cardio. Gamrot has the better experience, the fight IQ. Quillan Salkilld is just going to go in here. He's going to strike. He's going to try to, defend the takedowns, which he will. I'm not saying Gamrot's going to go in there and just dominate. Quillan Salkilld will defend takedowns. He's going to get back up. He's going to reverse Gamrot. But until when? He won't be able to do it for 5 rounds. Even Arman Tsarukyan could not have done it. Arman Tsarukyan was doing that for 3 rounds. When rounds 4 and 5 came, he was exhausted. Gamrot, he was so exhausted that Gamrot took his back twice in round 4 and round 5. If he's over here taking Arman's back, what is he going to do to Quillan Salkilld? Like, the only reason why you should be betting Salkilld here is if you truly believe Salkild's going to go in there and knock out Gamrot. If you think that's what's going to happen, I understand. But in a 5-round fight, Gamrot's going to push the pace. He's going to push the pace, take him down, get back up, take him down, get back up. Oh, it's striking. I'm going to circle the cage. Oh, the round's done. Round 2 starts. He gets a second breath. Takes him down again. He gets back up. Takes him down again. Hold him against the cage. Cage fuck him. Jamie Malarkey took fucking Quillan Salkilld down and held him on the cage for a long time. Who's texting me? But anyways, watch my video on the main event if you really want a full in-depth video. Again, listen, I don't think Quillan Salkild's that good. I really don't. I know a lot of you guys have an emotional connection with him for some odd reason. Like, you guys that's a little weird to me. I think Gamrot wins. I pick Gamrot. I'm probably going to bet on him. It won't be a max bet, but I will sprinkle Gamrot here. Guys, don't forget, Gamrot has only lost to Charles Olivera on short notice. It was like a week and a half notice. He lost to Charles Olivera. Round 2 started. He was completely gassed. He lost to Benny Dariush. Prime Benny, who was 1 fight away to fight for the belt, who has the best scrambles, the best takedown defense. Don't get me wrong, Gamrot has the best offensive takedowns, but he had such good scrambles. And he lost to Guram Kutalaze, who he actually won that fight, right? So he only has 1 loss, which is Benny. Hooker, he won that fight. And you're over here picking Salkilld to beat him? Come on. You guys said Ribovic would be Gamrot. You guys said Klein would be Gamrot. And all of a sudden Salkild's going to be Gamrot? I just don't see it, guys. I really don't. But anyways, next fight. Diego Ferreira versus Billy Quarantillo. Listen, I'm going to just be frank. I'm not going to bet on this fight. I'm probably not going to bet on this fight. And I'll tell you why. Diego Ferreira is 41 years old. Okay, Diego Ferreira is 41, turning 42 years old. And then you have Billy Quarantillo, who is 37 years old, who is moving up a weight class, who defends with his face. He defends knees, kicks, punches, elbows with his face. He has no defense. He's very hittable. and he just moves forward and walks into punches. And you have Diego Ferreira, who is 42 years old and got put out by Alexander Hernandez, and then he was just on the floor on the canvas, lifeless, and ate like 5, 6 shots right after that. Ref wouldn't stop it. Listen, honestly, like at first I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, like I don't like to pick 40-year-old fighters, right? You had Jan, who has never been knocked out before, got knocked out by a man who doesn't knock people out. Navajo Sterling. Why? Because after, like, when people start declining, bullshit like that happens. Like, you just cannot predict that. Navajo to get the finish. Are you crazy? Navajo's fucking finishes who? Bruno Lopes? But now all of a sudden it's Jan and people are giving him props, but it's like, you would never knock out a prime Jan, right? But the point is once people are past their prime, it's very hard to predict their fights. And here, you have 2 fighters who are past their prime. 42-year-old Diego Ferreira, Billy Quarantillo at 37, moving up to 155. I'm going to pick Diego Ferreira. I think, I know he's 42 years old. I'm not going to bet on this fight. Like, I will not be betting on this fight, but my pick is Diego Ferreira just because Billy Quarantillo just walks into punches. He has no defense. He walks into punches. He's moving up a weight class. He's over here getting dropped every single fight. He's over here getting wobbled every single fight. He's over here getting knocked out, 5 times? And now he's moving up in a weight class to fight Ferreira. Listen, they say that, speed leaves you, but the last thing that leaves you is power, right? As you age, you still keep your power. If I'm Diego Ferreira, I'm just going to practice step back, counter. Step back, circle. Step back, counter. I'll just be on my back foot and countering Billy and let him walk into my punch and knock him out. If Diego Ferreira doesn't get a knockout here, send him to the PFL. Next up. Oh my God. Come on, guys. I'm not doing this anymore. All right. Next up. Oh my God. I don't want to do this. Okay. Amanda Lemos versus Alexander Thainara. Now I'll tell you this. I have bet on every single one of Thainara's fight and made money. Ever since her Contender Series, to Molly McCann, to Loma Lookboomy, to Bruna Brazil, I've bet on every single one of her fights. Because she's had an advantage. Like she's had a wide advantage in every single one of those fights. And that's why I bet on her. I would bet on her. I would lay the chalk on her. I'll take her props. I'll take her minus spread. And this is another problem because this is where I draw the line. And plus, now all of a sudden she's fighting a 40-year-old woman. So another 40-year-old, which is trouble because at like first glance you're like, oh my God, Alexander Thainara minus 240 against Amanda Lemos, who cannot grapple, the best parlay piece of the card. And I agree with you. But then you do the tape. And like I'm doing the tape on Lemos, right? And I'm looking at her fights, right? Like at first, like a few years ago, like when she fought Weili Zhang, right? When she fought Weili Zhang, her wrestling was horrible. But then they gave her grappler after grappler after grappler after grappler. She's had 6 grapplers in a row. So she's been training grappling for 3-4 years now. And she's improved. Her grappling has improved. For example, against Tatiana Suarez, bro, she kept on getting up from Tatiana Suarez, and Tatiana Suarez has one of the best control. Like, not only does she take you down nicely, but she controls you on the ground. She will hold you down. And she was able to get up so many times to the point where Tatiana Suarez got so tired, she couldn't get any more takedowns. And then Lemos would, of course, unload, but not enough. She ended up losing that fight. But it was a close fight. The problem with Lemos is her grappling is very good now. Her defensive grappling is good. The problem with this dumbass is when she defends the takedowns against grapplers who cannot strike. I say that again. Listen to me. She has the ability to defend takedowns from grapplers who have no striking. But the second she defends a takedown, her dumbass goes for her own takedown, goes for her own reversal. She tries to go for the submission, and because she's fighting someone that's superior to her in the grappling, she gets reversed on the reversal, and she puts herself in compromising positions. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? For example, in her last fight against Robertson, I had her spread. I took her spread because I don't trust her money line. I took her spread and it cashed. But that fight she could have won. Clear. She defended so many takedowns and on the feet, like it's worlds apart between their ability. And then when she would defend the takedowns of Jillian Robertson, she would go for her own takedown, and then Jillian Robertson would just reverse her takedown. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're a striker. Defend the takedown, go in space, snap her head back. But instead, she defends the takedown and tries to reverse and tries to get a takedown herself. And I'm like, what are you doing? You could literally win this fight. Why are you grappling a grappler? It makes no. She's retarded. She's just dumb. She's dumb. She's dumb. And then I go and I watch Thainara's fights, and I wasn't impressed. You know, especially in that fight against Lomo Lukbumi. Lomo Lukbumi, who just got submitted. Who was it by? I made money on that. I had the submission. She just got submitted by Jacqueline Amorum in 1 minute, or was it? I think it was 40, 56 seconds or something. Anyways, she went the decision against Luma Lukbumi, who just got submitted in 1 fucking minute. And in that fight against Luma Lukbumi got up so many times. Alexander Thainara, she has good takedowns because she doesn't use traditional takedowns. And I say this in every single videos. Traditional takedowns are kind of expired. You have to mix in the sambo. You have to mix in the judo. You have to mix in the trips. And that's what Thainara does. She gets the body lock. She goes for a trip. Inside trip. Outside trip. She picks you up. Trips you over her hips. Those are good takedowns because those are hard to defend. She has very good takedowns, but she doesn't have very good control. Luma Lukbumi, who's a fucking Muay Thai fighter, was able to get up and beat the shit out of Thainara. Thainara was panicking because on the feet, I remember because I had money on this fight and I just rewatched it. Round 3 when I had money on Thainara, I was like, holy shit, she's getting smoked. Because, bro, Luma Lukbumi would get up and start unloading on her. And I'm like, oh my god, come on, bro. Don't get knocked out. Because, again, Thainara is just a BJJ nerd. Thainara doesn't have good striking. She's gonna, when she was, example, in that fight, when she was desperate, she would just hold her against the fence. And then Luma would get out of there and just hit her up with the 5-piece fucking combination. And then she'd get taken down again. My point is that Thainara doesn't have good control. Lemos has good takedown defense. Lemos has better striking. But the fucking problem is, if Lemos was 5 years younger with her abilities today, I would bet on Lemos money line. I would bet on Lemos spread. But here I can't. You know, here I'm probably going to take... My pick is Alexander Thainara. I think Thainara wins. If anything, I might sprinkle Lemos to win half a round at plus 7.5. But otherwise, my pick is Lemos. Sorry, my pick is Thainara. I'm going to bet Lemos to win half a round. But I really wish Lemos was younger so I could honestly take her money line because back in the day, man, she would defend takedowns and she would knock girls out. And this is where we start getting more comfortable and more confident in our picks and proper explanations. Now, in this fight against Billy Ray Goff against Ty Miller, I see a lot of people complaining, why is the odds so wide? Well, because Billy sucks. That's why the odds are wide, because Billy absolutely sucks. We watched all of his fights. He's just like Billy Quarantillo. He's just like the other Billy. What does he do? This guy thinks he thinks he's one of those exciting fighters that moves forward and swings and bangs. Honey, you're not. You're not. He literally moves forward and eats punches. He has no footwork, no head movement. He moves forward, eating punches, and then he tries to throw. And I'm like, what are you doing? His only win in the UFC against Yusaku, buddy, it was a repeat of last week. This Asian, Japanese, whatever he is, he's so fucking bad. It says body shot, knockout. It wasn't no left hook body shot to the liver. It was a straight right to the stomach. And it put him out. I'm like, what? A straight right to the stomach puts you out, not even to the liver? Are you serious? And even in that fight, it was competitive. But anyways, against Trey Waters, someone who's longer than him. What was Trey Waters doing? He was fighting on the back foot. Billy Goff, he was moving forward. By the time he would close the distance, he's already ate 3 punches. And then Trey Waters would move and then throw another 2. And then, of course, Trey Waters what he does, and he has no cardio. By the end of round 1, he was tired, and then he started brawling. They started throwing in the middle of the cage, on the side of the cage. Billy gets clipped. He gets dropped. He gets back up. Round's over. Now Trey Waters is gassed. What does Billy do second round? He's just moving forward with no defense, with his fucking chin as his forehead as the defense, to close the distance and to throw. He has no footwork to close the distance. He has no head movement to slip in, come in, stay in the pocket, move with the fighter. You have to shuffle. As the fighter's moving backwards, you have to shuffle with him and throw. He doesn't know how to do that. He cannot. Oh my god. Oh my god. He can't fight. Billy can't fight. Okay, like Goff cannot fight. And then you watch Ty Miller. And again, I'm not high on Ty Miller, but stylistically in this matchup, Ty Miller should smoke Billy Goff. He should smoke him. Why? Ty Miller has clean boxing, right? He has clean boxing. He's one of the rare fighters who uses their length. He uses his length when he's striking. When he's throwing a jab, he's extending to his fullest ability. His 1-2, it's long. He dropped Fugit because his 1-2 was so long. He's literally turning his body. He has great boxing. And on top of the boxing, he has great footwork. So when Goff is coming in like a goat, because when you ever seen goats fight? When goats fight, they put their heads down and they ram each other. That's what Billy does. He puts his head down and he comes forward. What is Ty Miller going to do? He's going to throw 1-2, step back, uppercut, step back. Oh, my back is behind the cage. I'm going to circle because that's what Billy wants. Billy wants you in the cage. But Ty Miller's smart. He's going to circle. Why? Because he has the footwork. And then when he circles, Billy Goff's going to come again. And again, Billy Goff is moving into his punches. Jab, jab, right hand, circle. Ty Miller is just going to box him up. It's really that simple. Ty Miller's going to box and move, box and move, box and move. And that's all she wrote. Ty Miller doesn't have power. I know he knocked out Fugit, but it was a standing knockout. The thing about Ty Miller is he doesn't have power, but he has very good accuracy. And that's why he dropped Fugit, is because he landed that straight right, straight on the chin. And here, I won't be surprised if he drops Billy Goff 2-3 times, because again, Billy Goff is walking into the punches, which causes more impact. And that's all she wrote. I think Ty Miller wins. I think he either wins every single round or gets a knockout. This is the same person who got submitted by Brahimaj because he literally gave him the submission like a... Anyways. Next up, Stephen Asplund versus Guilerme Pat. Now, in Pat's previous fight against Thomas Peterson, I know who you guys are. Every single one of you. Because I remember I was the only one who picked Thomas Peterson. Every single person picked Pat to beat Thomas Peterson. And I was very confused because don't forget, Pat's first fight in the UFC was against Alan Fry Jr. Alan Fry Jr., who's not even a fighter. He was a D3 basketball player who said, fuck it, I'm going to give this MMA thing a try. Alan Fry Jr. is not UFC level, and he's not even PFL level. Oh my God. Listen, Alan Fry Jr. is not even PFL level. He's not. And that's saying a lot. This guy's not even a fighter, let alone a PFL level fighter. Let alone a UFC fighter. That's how bad he is. Now, in his fight against Alan Fry Jr., there's a lot of things I took away. Pat comes in, he throws right hand, left hook, right hand, and then he moves. He doesn't Pat wants everything to be pretty. He wants to come in, throw a combination, and get out of there. He wants to come in, throw a combination, and get out of there. He doesn't like to be flustered. Because in that fight, after round 1 was done, in round 2, Pat would throw a right hand, left hook, and all of a sudden Pat's still there. All of a sudden Fry is still there. He would grab him and clinch him. And I'm like, wait a second. You're beating the shit out of this guy, and you're engaging the clinch? And then I was like, holy shit. He's tired. He's just trying to take a break. And then, of course, when the clinch breaks, he throws a few punches and then he circles. Watch that fight. Why is Pat, who's winning the fight, constantly, he's going to throw 2 punches and then he steps back and he starts circling the cage. He's trying to gain back his breath. For the entire round 2 and 3, he constantly threw like 2 punches, 3 punches, and he would get out of there because he wanted to regain his breath. He was tired, and he was honestly masking it pretty good. Like, Pat is pretty smart. Like, he wasn't showing that he was tired, but you could tell he was tired with the small little things. He was getting tired fighting Fry. And Fry did what? Just hold him against the cage. The fact that he couldn't knock out Fry, Patterson, you're going to tell me he's going to knock out Stephen Asplund? Listen, Pat does the same thing. All he does is right hand, left hook, right hand, left hook, right hand, left hook, right hand. Same punches over and over and over again. And he doesn't like to be pressured, and he doesn't have good cardio. Every single time he got pressured, he engaged a clinch, or he honestly just fucking ran on his bike and circled out. Well, attempted to circle out. Against Stephen Asplund, who's not going to circle out, that's crazy. Again, I'm the same person who had $6,000 or $5,000 on Vitor Petrino to beat Asplund. And now I'm picking Asplund. You see, I have no bias. I can't stand Asplund. But in this fight, stylistically, Asplund's going to win. And honestly, Asplund impressed me. Asplund is one of those rare fighters who is improving fight after fight after fight. From his LFA fights to his Contender Series fights to his fight against that little short bald guy, Sharif, and Vitor. He's improving in every single fight, and I'm visually seeing it. Against Vitor, he looked phenomenal. Even though he lost, he looked phenomenal. Why? Round one starts. What does he do? He's not fighting like his previous fights. He's not. Remember, the way Asplund fights is he the second the bell rings, he's overwhelming you. He's putting the pressure on you. He's throwing a 50 punches. He didn't do that. And there's two reasons why he didn't do that, and it's because of his coach. I was listening to the corner work, and his coach is some female. And it was useful information because they knew Vitor he hits hard. He has real knockout power with real accuracy, and he's a real fighter. Vitor likes to counter you. So as you're coming in, he wants you to come in. He baits you to come in, and then he counters you. And of course, they respect Vitor as a fighter. They realize, okay, Vitor's a good fighter. I cannot just walk in front of him and throw 50 punches. It's not going to work. So that's the two reasons, because his female coach literally said, listen, you're doing it perfectly. Remember, he's trying to bait you in to counter you. So don't fall for the bait. Let him come to you and counter him. And when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, a corner with a real game plan. Beautiful, because it worked. He went in with Vitor. He faked. Vitor fell for the fake. Vitor threw. He countered Vitor with a left hook. Dropped Vitor's fucking ass on the ground. And I'm like, oh my god, I lost my money. But of course, I ended up winning. We all ended up winning because of VIP cashed. But the fact that he made a game plan that worked shocks me, because a lot of these UFC fighters, they come up with a game plan, and the second the fight starts, they don't follow the game plan. This motherfucking fat ass follows the game plan properly, and I was impressed. He wasn't fighting recklessly. He was picking his shots, and even the times that he got caught by Vitor, this motherfucker has a granite fucking chin. I'm like, what? How the fuck are you eating these shots? Because he ate some clean shots from Vitor. No problem. Round 3, both of them were tired. He starts doing something next things. He kept on timing Vitor. Every single time Vitor would step in to throw, boom, Asplund would hit him first, to the point where Asplund hit him so hard, Vitor was wobbled. He dropped Vitor in round 1. He wobbled Vitor in round 3. And I'm like, bro, if this was Pat, he would overwhelm Pat. Because with Pat, when you watch Pat's tape, Pat gets tired. He likes to throw 3 punches and take a break. 3 punches and take a break. When if I'm Steven, I would let him throw 3 punches. I would eat those 3 punches, and I'll stay in his face. I'll throw 3 back. Then he's forced to throw more punches. I'll throw more punches. I want him to throw because he's going to gas out. And the second he gasses out, I'm still going to be there. And I'm going to continue to throw and continue to throw to the point where I get another standing TKO. I think Pat wins this. Sorry. Oh, nope. I think Asplund wins this. Stylistically, it's a great matchup for Asplund to win. Pat literally has nothing for him. Diyar Nurgozhay versus Bruno Lopes. Listen, Diyar has been a big letdown in the UFC. We thought he was going to be good. He's not even good. He's not even mid. However, Diyar's striking is quite good. He has lost twice and been submitted twice. Now, that's why I don't like, because when you look at Diyar's career, he's been subbed by the most basic things, right? Oh, no. Okay. Diyar's been submitted by a... Because I always tell you, like, there's certain submissions that you shouldn't get subbed by. And Diyar has been subbed by an Ezekiel choke. Listen, at the highest level, you shouldn't be getting subbed by an Ezekiel choke. And a Kimura. At the highest level, guys, you should not be getting subbed by a Kimura. I'm sorry. But I'll be honest with you, like, those fights, it wasn't really that his takedown defense was poor. Usually those submissions came off of, like, he was hurt and he got dropped into that submission. For example, in this fight against Rafael Tobias, that's actually a real grappler who's trying to take you down and submit you. He couldn't. Diyar was smoking him on the feet. He was defending the takedowns. Like, he actually has some decent defense takedowns. He has some decent takedown defense. Diyar has good strike. Well, Diyar has in this matchup, Diyar has decent striking. He's very competent as a. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a striker. He knows what he's doing. He has good head movement. He has very good striking. And then, of course, his takedown defense, it looked good, right? I mean, hope like on the cage, right? Because if you get taken down in the middle of the cage, I don't know. But against the cage, he has pretty good takedown defense against Bruno Lopes, whose only win was the guy who was fighting out of Qatar. And to win that fight, he just held him on the cage for 15 minutes. And that guy hasn't fought since that. I think he got caught. Bruno Lopes, like, look, apparently he's a grappler, but he hasn't like grappled in years, like got a submission win in years. This fight should not go on the floor because Bruno Lopes doesn't have the wrestling to take this on the floor, and then nor does Bruno Lopes have the striking to drop Nurgozhay to get the submission. I think this is going to be like a. I think Diyar again. He should cruise to a victory here, where he wins almost every single round by decision, or he gets a knockout because Bruno Lopes is quite chinny. Like I think, like if Diyar, like in hindsight, when Diyar wins, it's gonna be one of those like, oh my god, fuck, this guy was minus 150. Oh, that was the lock of the card. That's what I'm afraid that might happen. I like Diyar. Look forward for my best bets. He might be there. Honestly, he should win. No, oh my god, guys, seriously, like, um, Louie Sutherland versus Jose Montana da Silva. Um, I tried to do tape on them against Jose Montana da Silva. I couldn't find tape on him. The only fight that I found from him was from 4 years ago. He looked like a fat piece of shit. He got dropped like 3, 4 times. Zero striking. His grappling was mid. Louis Sutherland, he does whatever it takes to get the win. I'm not betting on this fight. I pick Louis. I'm not betting on this fight. If you bet on this fight, you're crazy. I'm taking Louis though. I might sprinkle Louis, but like even props here is gonna be garbage, man. I remember because Louis was what plus 500 to win by decision against Tai Tu Ivasa. Anyways, oh, interesting fights left. Manoel Sousa versus Richie Miranda, and the second this fight got announced, I was gassed. I was so fucking gassed because I was like, yes. And then when I saw the odds come out, I was like, oh, thank the Lord. Minus 250, Sousa. We got the best parlay piece of the night against some random bloke from the LFA. Okay, listen. I don't have an editor, so I can't edit this out. I gotta go use the washroom. So there's gonna be like a 30-second intermission, which you kind of have to like skip through because I don't have an editor. Yeah, sorry about that. All right. I gotta make sure Foro's odds hasn't come out yet because I know we're gonna get into Foro, but I'm gonna be betting on Foro, who's fighting actually, who's gonna probably be opening the card. Her odds are not out yet. Anyways, let me double check. It's okay. I'm gonna put a timestamp saying piss break. Sucks not to have an editor. All right, let's go. Yeah, and then I started doing tape on Richie Miranda, and I'm like, fuck. Because at first I thought this was gonna be an easy fight for Manuel Sousa, and I started doing tape on Richie Sousa, and I'm like, oh, like it's such a hard fight to tell, because Richie Miranda, like he gets hit a lot, like he doesn't have good takedown, like sorry, he gets hit a lot. He doesn't have good defense. Like it's like again he's like leading with his head. He doesn't like see the punches coming as quick as a fighter should. He's not a good. He's a very mid striker who could get caught, especially in exchanges. But then he has very good cardio. He mixes the takedowns. I don't think his takedowns are as good, and or I should say, as are good enough. But then I ended up rewatching Sosa's fights, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Oki took you down. Oki's holding you down, and then He starts gassing out in the second round. He gets overconfident, so then he overextends. He gets clipped, and then he gets dropped hard. And I'm like, what am I watching? I'm like, holy shit, Sousa's not as good as I thought he was. Then I watched his contender series, and I'm like, this little kid took you down because he jumped for a heel hook. I'm like, no way he did that to you, or ankle pick, whatever you call it. Listen, if I'm Cub Swanson, I'm telling, because Richie Miranda's been he's been used to fighting 5 round fights. Like remember, Richie Miranda won his LFA title as a plus 750 underdog, because he had cardio. And but that was a 5 round fight. In this fight, if I'm Cub Swanson, I'm telling Richie Miranda, listen, this is a 3 round fight, but you have 5 rounds of cardio. The only way you're gonna win this fight is by putting on the pressure. Pressure Sousa. The second round starts, be in his face. Let him throw. Let him land on you. Let him get confident. Take him down. Let him get back up. Take him down again. Hold him on the fence. Pressure him. Let him throw. Take him down again. Tire his ass out. And then round 2 and 3 just take over. Because at first I thought I could lay the chalk because of how hittable Richie is. But then I realized, holy fuck, you could take down Sousa so easily. You could hold him down so easily. And then Sousa doesn't have the best cardio. So I'm like, if Richie could get past, you know, like the first, round one, I'm not saying Richie's going to win, but it's going to be a pretty close fight. Like if Sousa doesn't get a knockout, and you see, like, I don't like in this fight, I'm not going to see a fluke knockout because Sousa hits like a truck. And if Sousa lands one punch and knocks him out, that's not a fluke. That's who he is. So when I say Quillan Salkilld gets a fluke, Quillan doesn't do that. But if Sousa does that, it's his game. Richie has to be desperate for the takedowns. He has to take him down, let him get back up. I don't want to pick Richie. I really don't because his striking isn't good. But like stylistically, this is a good fight because it's either Sousa gets a quick knockout or Richie does a lay and pray. But then I'm rewatching his stuff and I'm like, he's not as good as a wrestler as people think he is. I know some people are like, oh, but he's a state champion. But then I watch him in his MMA fights and I'm like, is he really? He doesn't look like a state champion. I mean, fucking Urza Elliott. He looks like a state champion. The way he fucking grappled whatever his name is. This is gonna be a good fight. I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't have a pick. I don't have a pick because I'm not confident on either side because I could see Sousa knocking his ass out, but then I could see Richie holding him down. I don't have a pick, guys. I'll put a pick on Friday or Saturday. I'm gonna post my entire picks on X. That's when I'll post my pick. But for now, I don't have a pick. I want to see what the odds are for Sousa knockout and Miranda by decision. I think Miranda by decision. Oh, I'll leave this for the best bets video. But Miranda by decision was like plus 400. Anyways, next up, Miles Johns versus Jessie Rosas. When I saw this fight get announced, I'm like, holy shit, this is a stupid fight. I'm taking Miles Johns. I'm slamming Miles Johns. Because again, it's like, bro, it's your first fight, and I don't care if you're fucking Chiwiwi's brother or not. It's your first fight in the UFC as a kid. If you were 30 years old and you have experience in Bellator, PFL, overseas, you're knocking people out in KSW or Octagon and stuff, okay, fair. But if it's your first fight and you've never even fought at a proper regional promotion or competitive, and all of a sudden you're fighting some guy who has 11 UFC fights, you're fucked. And then I start rewatching John's, fight against Daniel Marcos, and I'm like, why the fuck is John so tired? Like after 2 minutes, Miles John is exhausted, and then he got subbed. And then I watched his fight against John Matsumoto, and I'm like, bro, why is he so? I don't remember you this bad, because when I remember Miles Johns, when I remember him, like he went life and death with Matsumoto in a good competitive fight, takedowns, get ups, striking. But then when I rewatched it, it wasn't that exciting, and I'm like, what the hell? Then I watched this Jessie Rosas guy, and I'm like, I mean, he's young, he fights young, but he's fast, and he has decent boxing, and he has good takedowns, and I'm like, if Marcos did that to you, can't Rosas do that to you? I might regret this, but I'm picking Jessie Rosas, and I might bet him too, just to feel something early on in the card. Now, Juliana Miller versus Ravena Olivera, to make it very clean, precise, and quick. Ravena Olivera does one thing, and all she does is a 1-2, like a karate fighter, like Pat. She dives in, 1-2, dives out. She lunges in, 1-2, lunges out. And she's fighting Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller has zero striking. Like, literally zero striking. However, what she did to Carly Judice was beautiful. She had all of us on the edge of our seats panicking. Not once, but twice. 2 times did she take Judice's back on the floor and on the cage and was about to get a submission. If that was any other fighter, aka Olivera, should submit her. The fact that Olivera got taken down so easily against Stefano Luciano, but not only that, but when she tried to get up, how easily she gave up the submission, I could tell her jiu-jitsu is nowhere near Miller's. If Miller gets Olivera in the same position that she got Carly Judice in, she's gonna get the submission. I think Miller gets a submission here easily. Like if she goes there, if she, because remember she had a chip on her shoulder in her last fight because everyone thought she would get knocked out. If she shows up on Saturday with the same chip and intensity, oh my god, I can't speak, intensity that she did in her last fight, I think she gets a submission. I truly do. Now for the best fight of the card, my girl is back. Remember, I have 3 girls, okay? Because I've been on these 3 girls since their first fights ever under Zuffa. I've been on Fatima Klein since her first fight, Carol Foro, and Ferreira. I have 3 girls. Fatima Klein, Carol Foro, and Ferreira Abdulov. Carol Foro is finally back from being suspended for 6 months. Carol Foro, when you watch her fight, go watch her in the Contender Series. She'll be your favorite fighter. The way she fights like a man. I think she is a man. Because, like, I listen to her speak and, like, I don't know if she's on steroids or testosterone. Her voice is more manly than mine. And I'm like, holy shit, like, I don't mind it because you're over here making me money. Because don't forget, when she fought Chanel Dyer on the Contender Series, she was an underdog. And I gave Carol Foro not only as a pick, but as a bet on my ex. We bet on Carol Foro to win money line. We bet on her spread. We also bet on her knockout. And she dominated Chanel Dyer. She dropped down Chanel Dyer, the same Chanel Dyer that knocked out Ravena Olivera in the last fight. And everyone was picking Chanel Dyer. Everyone said Chanel Dyer is a better striker. She's longer, she's taller, she's meaner. But that's true. Carol Foro is only 5'2", and she's used to fighting girls taller than her. However, she's finally fighting someone her same size. Carol Foro, she's a mean fucking bitch. She does powerlifting, she does taekwondo, she does boxing, she does jiu-jitsu, she does wrestling. She does everything. This girl has Canelo hands. I know Bilal Muhammad said he has Canelo hands, but no, this girl has fucking Canelo hands. The way she mixes up the body and the head. Listen, don't listen to me. Watch her Contender Series fight. She's phenomenal. She's fighting Gigi Canuto, who just recently lost on the Ultimate Fighter. And because remember, Gigi is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioner. Her jiu-jitsu is very high level. And I'm not just saying that because, she's a jiu-jitsu champion or multiple jiu-jitsu champion. But when I watched her tape, especially on the Ultimate Fighting Championship, like, she would take you down and she would transition from one sub to another. She transitioned to the arm bar, but she faked it. She went to the other arm, and then she transitioned to a heel hook. And I'm like, holy fuck, this girl knows what she's doing because she's so comfortable at attacking from one thing to another to another. And I'm like, holy fuck, her jiu-jitsu is very high level. And then in that same fight, she got reversed. And, she got an arm bar. She couldn't get it. She went for a leg lock. She couldn't get it. Then she went for another arm bar. But then she gassed. After 4 minutes, she gassed. She was in bottom position. And she ate a few elbows. And she was blocking the elbows. But then all of a sudden, she's so fucking tired that she could barely sit on her seat. And then round 2 starts. And she's so tired, she falls and she pulls guard. And after like one punch to the face, she just turns around and just, gives up. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? There's no fucking way. And then I watch her regional scenes. It's because like she's so used to getting quick submissions. Round 1 submission, she's over here taking down 40-year-old females in LFA, taking them down, going straight for the submission. Listen, Gigi has way better jiu-jitsu than Carol Foro. Very good jiu-jitsu. Her striking isn't there. Her cardio isn't there. I think what's going to happen is very simple. Gigi's going to be desperate for takedowns. She might get them, but Foro is too good. I think Carol Foro will get back up, and she's going to knock the fuck out of Gigi. Fuck that. Bro. I even deposited money in my Bet Online account, and I'm over here with notifications on. So the second Carol Foro drops, I get early odds on her or the best props. I'm telling you, I'm depending on the odds. Some free sauce here. Depending on the odds, I am slamming my girl Carol Foro. She's gonna knock the fuck out of this girl. And that's all the fights that we have.